Hello, everyone, and welcome to day one of the Healthy Relationship Bootcamp 1.0. In today's lesson, we are going to be talking about the art of attraction, and I am really excited to show you how you just might be subconsciously attracting the very thing that you do not want in your life. So sit back as we dive deep into this lesson, and as we go through this lesson, we are going to be talking about the laws. And when I mean the laws, the law of attraction, how does attraction work? Don't think of it like a cringy kind of thing. Think of it as you sitting in your own skin and attracting and exuding an energy, exuding an energy that makes people just really think that you are someone to be around. Does that look like something that you can only imagine in this moment? Does it feel like, nah, that can't be me? If you have that feeling, I want you to note it down somewhere, because we are going to be going on a journey in this boot camp. And for everything that we do, we want you to pay attention to how you think. That is the basis for this boot camp. We are here to rewire your mind, how you think about yourself, most importantly. So as much as we are here to talk about relationships, how you can, we are going to teach you a bit about, healthy relationships, non-toxicity, what to expect, how to be non-toxic yourself, right? But we are going to be going first into you, because we have seen and I have learned that before you can have healthy relationships with people, you have to have a healthy relationship with yourself. And a lot of people live in a constant state of always wanting. You don't know how to sit in your own power and just be you. You don't know how to just be content and to be comfortable in your skin. If this is you and you're constantly feeling like you are rushing to get the next connection, the next relationship, and it feels like a hustle that you're really tired of, you need to listen to this lesson, because in this lesson we are going to be talking about how to attract the right kind of relationships. And this can be friendships, can be networking, or let's say professional relationships, mentorship relationships, romantic relationships. There's a state of being that you can step into, that you now start to see yourself as deserving of any kind of relationship that you desire. And that's where we want to get you to, depending on wherever you are on your journey of self-awareness. At the end of this lesson, we want you to be able to at the end of this boot camp, we want you to be able to sit and see yourself differently. And not just see yourself differently, we want you to be able to pick out the things about you. It's not just about thinking good and feeling good and all the whole motivational stuff. It's more about uncovering who you are on your inside. We're going to reintroduce you to you, so that attracting people is just going to be a byproduct of a life that you are already living. All right. So first things first. In today's lesson, I'm going to talk about the law of attraction. And when I mean the law of attraction, I'm sure you've heard of something. Attraction is not a new word to you. You probably have heard it somewhere. There are lots of theories about it. People have written about it. But this particular law of attraction that I'm going to be talking about is from the Bible. Okay, so hear me out. I don't know if you're Christian or not, but hear me out. So there was a particular day, something was happening, and I was just thinking about how, and this was in the academia, all right? So for me, my own academic life. So something was going on, and I remember that I just something happened, and I just came into a state where I was thinking that someone was better than I was. So I was in that place where I was like, oh, this person is definitely better than I am, and I can never be in this thing. And I something dropped on my heart in that moment, and it was like, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And this is a very powerful law, because it just dawned on me in that moment that the fact that I had not been able to measure up to a certain standard in terms of academics, right? All this while, I had now gotten to a point where I had have absorbed that as my identity. And I just felt like, oh, this person is definitely going to do it better than I can ever do. And so when that law dropped on my heart, it dawned on me that I was limiting myself in that moment. And because I think that way, that is actually the way I am. And so one powerful thing that scenario taught me is that sometimes you allow past experiences, right, to dictate your future outcomes. And this is something that every one of us can relate to. You had a breakup, and so there's something you just believe that all ladies will do. You had a past with that was not exactly good, and you've carried over the traumatic experiences of your past into your future, and you are now living from your past. And there's a way I talked about this at a time when I sent out an email a couple of months ago now. You can be stuck in your past. You can be living in the past. You can hold on to your past so much that you do not allow yourself to experience the beauty of the present and the possibilities in the future. And so this law of attraction that tells us that as a man thinketh in his heart, or as a person thinks in his heart, so the person is trying to tell you that when you allow the past experiences to form your identity, when you allow your past experiences to form how you think, what you think is possible, and how you generally see life, that's exactly all you ever be. Your past. You're you're going to find it hard to create new experiences because you're stuck in your past by your thoughts. Okay? So it is really important that if you want to attract, if you want to come into a state of being, we want to analyze in this session how you think about relationships. Okay, how you think about relationships. What do you think? What are your core beliefs? What are the things that you fall back on? Last, everybody go chop breakfast. These are people's ideologies, and you would always wonder why you always have a breakup, because you believe that that's how things should run. Okay, and it's very important to know this because your subconscious mind does not exactly take permission from you to act out what you believe. When you've consistently talked about a thing, focused on a thing, and it's now a part of your subconscious, your life begins to run on autopilot. And you're wondering, why are things not working out? Why does it seem like every time I get into a relationship it does not work out? Why does it seem like I don't feel good enough? I don't feel worthy. I don't feel like I deserve to be here. I deserve this space, because you've so absorbed the message of not feeling good enough that it's now your reality, right? And sometimes these things can seem so real, right? It seems so real. One of the most interesting things about self-awareness that I have learned is that the more you are self-aware, the more you see how much intentionality it takes to live an amazing life. You cannot live an amazing life, an outstanding life, not thinking, not rewiring your thoughts consciously. You cannot live an amazing life just doing things that everybody else does, thinking like every other person. You will not. Okay, if you want, you have to be intentional. So it takes a high level of intentionality to do big things, whatever that big thing might be to you. Okay, and in the context of building a relationship, it's very important that you understand that half of the things that you think about relationships now, especially if you are in a place in your life that you are not happy with in your relationships, trust me, it's very pertinent that you begin to question everything that you believe. Okay, and so we are going to understand the implications. Okay, I've talked about the implications of the law that I just shared with you, that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So this means that you are going to attract what is up here. Okay, what you've stored in your mind as normal, you are going to attract. So a few days ago I was listening to someone talk about something close to this, and he said something powerful that blew me. He said that your subconscious mind does not exactly know negativity. So this is what he meant. He was saying that you can be afraid of something. Oh, I don't want to fail, or I don't want to have a bad relationship, or I don't want to think of it. You may be afraid of something, or you may be so focused on something. You may be thinking a lot about something that you do not want, but your subconscious mind does not see it like that. Your subconscious mind does not read it as negativity. It sees it as focus. And so when you focus on negative things so much so that your subconscious mind absorbs that, it begins to play out that script for you. And you now begin to see patterns of, these things that in fact you do not want. And the most important thing to take note of in this lesson is your focus. What is your focus? And I'm very intentional about teaching people and telling people that what you focus on matters. Okay, what you focus on matters. It matters a whole lot. That you are not hyper focused on how evil people are, and you want to have relationships, you want to have healthy relationships, and you are hyper focused on, oh, don't trust people. You are focused on the fact that people cannot be trusted, people are dangerous, women are dangerous, men will stain your white. Do you understand? And the more you keep that in front of you, the more you are attracting that. It's not enough to say God forbid or that's not what I want. When you keep some these things in front of you long enough, they become, it's like when you focus on a particular thing, you start seeing it everywhere. So for example, you buy a new car, okay, or you get a new phone. Let's use a phone because I'm not good with brand of cars. So let's say you get a new phone, a Samsung Galaxy, whatever brand of phone, right? Those things are not my strong point exactly, but you get what I mean. And you begin to start paying attention subconsciously. So people around you who have that kind of phone, raise your hand if you can relate. I can totally relate. Before you got that phone, you did not care. You did not even notice if anybody had, what was your business. But the moment you have that phone, you begin to spot, oh, that person has my phone. Or as kids, when our parents get a new car that is red, we begin to spot red cars everywhere. And it's the same thing. When you are hyper focused on certain things, right, that may not be exactly healthy, you don't be surprised when you attract those exact things into your relationships. That's exactly what I want you to understand from this lesson. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. It doesn't matter whether you are thinking, God forbid this thing to happen to me. Do you understand? It's not so much as, oh, God forbid this thing should happen to me. What is most important here is that what are you keeping in front of your gates? And when I mean gates, I mean your mind gates, right? What are the things you allow yourself to interact with consistently? These things are very powerful because your subconscious mind is like I think of it like a something that allows things to rest, residues, like the bottom of a big drum that is filled with water. Do you understand? When you store water in that drum, or let's say rainwater, I don't know how many of us had the whole thing around storing with rainwaters in drums when we're growing up. No offense if that was not you, but I experienced it, and I'm sure one person here does. So when you store rainwater in a drum for a period of time, even if you've used up the water, right? After some time, you used up the water, you washed clothes, you did this, you did the dishes, you now begin to see the residue, right? You begin to see the residue. You begin to see how dirty the bottom of that drum can be. When the first time rainwater entered into that drum, the water looked very clean for all we cared. But as time went on, there were residues, there were settlings of the rain water, which was dirt. So think of your subconscious mind like that. So the more you join them on Twitter saying, doing hot takes, doing hot takes and talking and absorbing what people are saying, people's toxic thought patterns, people's traumatic thought patterns, you allow yourself to embrace you open up your mind gate. And this is through reading, through watching, through listening to, you know, stories. I don't see why people's bad experiences should be everybody's business. As far as I'm concerned, it's not my business. It will not happen to me. That's not what I'm going to keep in front of my gates. Do we understand that it is very important that you pay attention to your gates? As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. If you think this is not true, here here something very horrific. Hmm? Something very, and okay, let me not say horrific, because I bet you there are some guys here that roll their eyes and say, oh, it does not matter, I watch horror movies. But it's all good. Listen to something, or I'm sorry to use this, for example, a rape case, okay, and process the information. Hmm? For a while, process the information, allow yourself to process that information. Maybe there was a lady, she went to church, she was coming back at night, it was dark. Do you see the picture? Whatever happens, just paint that, process whatever the circumstances of that, situation, and you will notice that you would begin to feel, if anything ever puts you in a similar circumstance. So let's say you now find yourself maybe coming back from somewhere and it was dark, you would remember, this could have been me. I don't know if this makes sense. So it means that sometimes the things that we consciously talk about, listen to, watching on TV, see in movies, they are not just normal. They are not just another story. It's very important that we know this, because these are the things that form our mindsets, our belief systems, our values. Do we understand? So when you watch a movie and there's this person who got, dumped by a guy or duped by a girl that the person loved, pay attention to not just how you feel about it in that moment. Pay attention to the way it now causes you to think. You see that, oh, you become more guarded. You now begin to say things like, oh, we have to, be more careful about guys. So guys these days, these are the issues. Okay, so it is important that you pay attention to your thought patterns. That's a summary of this lesson. How do you think? How do you think? Okay, so we've talked about the laws, the law. We've talked about the implications of the laws. When you think in a certain way, you would attract that certain thing. So the point of this lesson is that let's find out how you think about relationships. We are here to help you build healthy relationships. But firstly, let us see what you think about relationships. And this is very important, because we need to know what your current relationship path is like. So we want to help you uncover your current relationship path. And if you are watching this video as an active participant of the Healthy Relationship Bootcamp 1.0, this is the point where it is very important that you show up to the community and share what you're learning. Okay, what you are uncovering about yourself. Okay, because we are going to be having these conversations, asking you questions to just excavate and help you become more self-aware of your mindset. Your mindset, think of your mindset like the foundation on which you build any house. If you do trashy foundation, it's very, very normal that you get a trashy building. It's just a matter of years, it would start cracking, or there'll be issues. So if you have a faulty foundation, a faulty thinking about relationships, you would attract the wrong people, because you don't have a solid foundation to build healthy relationships. All right, so today I want you to think about what is your relationship outlook, and here's what I mean. What are 5 basic things you think, or 5 basic ideas you have about relationships? So it depends on what subgroup you are in. If you are in the healthy if romantic relationship subgroups, shout out to you guys. I think romantic relationships are just one of those things that is very interesting to always talk about, even though it's mentally draining sometimes, the things we hear. But trust me, you can have beautiful, amazing romantic relationships, no fear of whether you're going to be, that's all the good stuff we have in store for you, so pay attention. All right, so what are the five things? Tell me 5 things that you think is everybody should know, or like 5 things you feel like that's normal about relationships. How do you, what are your thoughts? And when I mean what are your thoughts, I mean like, so for me, if you ask me from my own POV, okay, I believe that relationships are places that should feel like home, okay, where I can be myself. And this is a romantic relationship context, okay, and even friendships, right? But friendships, there are, degrees of intimacy in friendships. But I believe that a romantic relationship should be like home. And I believe that if I am in a romantic relationship, it's because I trust this person. So I don't go into that relationship holding back. Okay. I believe that it's supposed to be a place where I can be me and I can see someone else. Okay. So that is one basic thing. And I think that I can trust guys. I believe so. If I don't trust you, why should I love you? Do we understand? Some people believe that, oh no, you can't trust guys. No, you have to, lie to your husband to collect money. Am I shaking somebody's table? I'm sorry if I did. But what are the things that you what are 5 basic things you think about in terms of romantic relationships that every romantic relationship or everybody should know? So tell me, I want to hear your thoughts. Those 5 things I think everybody should know this about relationships. And don't tell me the ideal. I don't want you to come to the community and list out love should be. You know how some people say some things and you know that what they are saying is cliche. Like it's so cliche that we know that it's a cliche. No, I want to know what you think. You watching this. I want to know what you think about relationship. The things that personal experiences, okay, the things that your personal the those things that you say this way you say it in this. I'm quoting somebody a tweet I saw. In this little life of mine, I have learned that that thing I will follow. Come and share it with us. You want to hear it? Okay, so what's your relationship outlook? What are the things that your past experiences have made you believe about relationships? How do you think relationships? What are the things that you expect now if you are in a relationship or you're going to a relationship? Do we understand? It could also be from your family, okay, depending on the kind of family you came from. What are the things that, how have your own upbringing now affected your relationship, the way you see relationship? This is depending on your subgroup. If you're in the romantic relationship subgroup, I've talked about that. If you're in friendship subgroup, it's the same thing. Okay, we want to know how you think about your relationships or relationships in general. Like we said, we want to see your foundation. Okay, we want to see your foundation, and there are various things that can affect. I've said this. I did not, I wrote them down, but I do not want to be listing one, this, two, that. No, I have said that it is very powerful, the things that can shape our thought patterns. Sometimes it's culture, social media, mainstream media. But most importantly, it can be family and past experiences. Okay, and it's funny because we have valid experiences from our past that can so imprint on our souls that it's hard to believe something else. Okay, and we do not take that for granted, but we want to guide you to show you what that can look like now and what it can look like in the future. And it's our job here in this bootcamp to guide you to both tell us about where you want to go, and we are going to create that roadmap for you. All right, so it's very important that you pay attention to that. So there are various things, like I said, that can affect your own mindset about relationships now. So it is your duty to come to the community and share with us when we have our into VC session. All right. Another thing that we are going to I want you to think about, okay, is what are your magnetic touch points? I really love this because a lot of us do not know what's the word? What's what tickles us about people. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, like what annoys you. No, what are those things about people that draws you in? There is something, and I like to ask people this question. Pardon me, pardon me. I'm going to talk about it in terms of romantic relationships too. Okay, but don't worry, I will talk about it in context of friendships. when you find out that you like somebody, okay, ask yourself, why do I like this person? That can reveal your magnetic touch point. So if you are currently in a relationship, or you are currently in a talking stage, or you are currently crushing on someone, ask yourself, why do I like this person? Why? What about this person appeals to me? That is your magnetic touch point. The things that draw you in. Okay? For some of us, it can be totally physical. But for if you pay attention, you see that it's not only physical. Okay? There are a lot of things that pulls you in. A lot of things about people that pulls you in. If at this point in time you find out, because like I said, we are on a journey of discovery, and we want to teach you to be self-aware. So yes, when we do this lesson, you may find out that when you get the journal prompts and come to the community, into Missy sessions, you may find out that you are very attracted to superficial things, and that's fine. That's why you are here. Okay. We are going to show you how to uncover, because the reason why people can be attracted to superficial is because they have stuck they've what's the word, you have lived in a state of self unawareness, that you have literally stuffed down the most important things like values, principles, emotional connection. Those things are not really, tangible, or we can see with our eyes, right? So we want you to see. We want you to see what attracts you about a person, so that you can decide. Yeah, you both see and decide for yourself as we go through the boot camp, if that is good, if it is enough, and if that's really what you want. So it's not really about what is ideal. Okay, I'm not here to impact my own what's the word, to impact my preferences on you. We are going to ask you, we are going to help you uncover what you want, and so that you can find out if that's really how you can attract the kind of people that you want in your life. Okay. So yes, so number two, we are identifying our magnetic touch points, the things that pull us in romantic relationships or in friendships. For some people like me, I'm attracted to really smart people. Okay, and I started noticing a pattern that I would be friends to the smartest people in the room. Apart from, except they had a nasty behavior, by the way. Yes, I really do not like people who are smart and nasty. And when I mean nasty, I mean maybe snobbish, proud looking ish, Sometimes I can judge wrongly, but I'm just saying. But I'm attracted to people who are smart, people who are at the top of their game, people who embody excellence. And I started thinking about the fact that, because that is something I had started to identify with, you know, I had a magnetism towards people like that. And so I need you to start understanding that relationships do not start from somebody likes you or you like somebody. It's deeper than that, okay? It's more about you. Have you connected with who you are on your inside? Okay, and the whole message of this session, of this lesson, is that when you're not self-aware, you leave your relationships to chance, and that is too dangerous. Okay, people think the universe brings the people their way. Trust me, there's something on the inside of you that draws people to you, or that pulls you to people, whichever way. So when you bury that thing downwards, you are going to be doing things by should I say, you're going to be moving from a place of inauthenticity. That's the best way I can explain it. When you're not connected with your real self, on who you are on your inside, you're not being authentic. And the kind of relationships that can birth are superficial relationships, toxic relationships, name them. Okay, so if you are someone, and I know that if you are watching this, you are that kind of a person that is looking forward, you are looking for relationships that feel you. Relationships that just leaves you feeling like, oh, what have I been doing with my life? Where has this person been all my life? Or relationships that constantly leaves you thankful that you met this person or you came into this community. You have to start uncovering you, refining you, and stepping into you because you are powerful. You just don't know that you are powerful. You are just not self-aware. You don't know who you really are on your inside, because if you knew, you would you would there's a word that is coming, trust me, it's coming. You would utilize utilize and you know you would be able to make good use of you, not in a bad way, in a way that you are living your best life. You are doing the big things that you've been called to do. And relationships are just one of those things that are a byproduct of living a fulfilling life, an amazing life. So you need to identify your magnetic touch points. That's number two. And we are talking about this evening in the community, depending on your subgroup. Okay. So lastly, what is your current focus? What is your current focus? And this question may be a bit tricky because it may look like it may when you start to uncover this, okay, it may almost look like how you think about relationships, the first question I asked. And here is why. When you focus so much on something, okay, whether it's good or bad, you begin to you know you begin to develop mindsets around it. This is how things should be, this is how that should be, this is how this should work, this is how that will work. Do we understand? So you're focused on something negative, for example, it's because you've seen things, you've heard things. Somehow in your subconscious, you now begin to, feel like, like you begin to put yourself in shoes that you're not supposed to be in the first place. But oh well, you begin to step into that consciousness. That's the word. You are now becoming conscious of something because you're focused on it. Okay, so I want you to identify your focus. That's very important because we need you to see what is really on the inside of you, not what you see out of your mouth. Not every time the things you say are the things that happen to you. That's why a lot of people are tired of confessions, affirmations, declarations, and all, because they feel like it does not work. And the reason why it does not work is that it's not yet in your subconscious. Okay, it's not yet in your subconscious. So we want to uncover what is in your subconscious. That's it. We want to uncover what is in your subconscious so that we can know how we are rewiring. So what is your focus as regarding relationships? What are those things that you are so afraid of? That's my question, really. That's just really it. So when I'm talking about your focus, tell me the things you're afraid of. Okay? If you're in if you're in the friendship subgroup, you're here for friendships. Tell me what you are most afraid of when it comes to friendships. Really. And if you're in a romantic relationship or you are in a romantic relationship subgroup, tell me what you're most afraid of when it comes to romantic relationships. I hope this session has been enlightening and enriching. I hope you enjoyed my my gestures, and I hope that you enjoyed the bootcamp. I would advise and encourage and want you to come to the community this evening and engage. We're going to be having intimacy sessions, like intimacy, like intimacy, where we are going to be uncovering and unpacking these questions that I just talked about. And it's going to be powerful because this is the only program that would do something that would give you top tier coaching experience in a 5-day bootcamp. Trust me. But what you need to do is to show up. If you came here to build better relationships, you need to show up to the lessons to get better relationships. And you don't know if you would meet someone. You don't know if you will meet someone in the community. Of course, we're here to build relationship, but that's just like byproduct. That's not even the point. The point is that we need you to come so that we can guide you on the journey to uncovering these things for yourself. We want to know, we want you to see, and we want to see how it's helping you. Don't say, oh, I'll write it in my journal. Trust me, I've said that thing a lot of times in a lot of programs, and I'm sure that 90% of the times I never did. So We need it to show up to the community this evening, and let's have our intimacy sessions and let's talk about the things we've talked about. I'll see you in lesson 2. Bye for now.